All right. Thanks so much for hopping on. So Jake is my husband. You've seen him post in the team page already, and he usually will do this with me. But he got called up to Orlando. He's in real estate, so he has some showings up in Orlando that he had to do last minute. So he's up there. He might be hopping on from the car if he can. Otherwise, he'll be on next time, hopefully. Um, but I wanted to go ahead and open us up in prayer. So I wanted to just say, like, I know there's so many new faces on here, and I'm so happy to have you. I just feel so blessed that you're on our team. And I'm just really excited to get to know each and every one of you. So for me, my faith is really important to me, but if that's not your thing, I like do not want to pressure you whatsoever. But one thing that I will do is just pray as we get started on our team calls, and then we'll get going. So if you would go ahead and join me in prayer, and then we'll get started. God, I just thank you so much for the opportunity to have this team call today with so many new faces on here. Lord, you know exactly what's going on in each of our lives. And I just pray that as we come together today, you would remind us of who you are and how you want to work through us in this capacity. I just thank you for bringing all of these wonderful people onto our team. And I just ask that as we continue to work our businesses, that you would give us your confidence, that you would guide us, that you would help us to build in a way that has integrity. And I just pray too for anyone that's on this call, just feeling a little bit nervous today, Lord, that you would just put them at ease, help them to know that they're here for a reason, and that when we lean in together, we can accomplish some really awesome things. I just pray for all those things that are on our minds and hearts today that we may not be sharing about. God, you know what they are. And I just pray that you would help us to trust you with everything. In your name we pray. Amen. Okay, so I'm very excited to get started. I know I have notes because I have so much that I want to cover. But first and foremost, I just want to say welcome to all of you. Whether you have been with me for the last several months or you just joined, I'm so fortunate to have you on the team. And, the last couple weeks have been crazy. I guess it's been like 3 weeks now, really, since the news of Body happened. And so, for those of you that were affected by that, I just want to say I'm really sorry because I know that it has been a lot to go from trusting that company and going all in with that to now having to pivot and just all the emotions that come with that. But I'm so excited for all of us to kind of, just come together and get to know one another. I wanted to just also shout out all of the girls that were on our team before this big body shift happened, because this has been a lot on them as well. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, whoa, we went from this like tiny team to now there's all these people in the chat, and the chats are blowing up, and like, it's amazing, but it's also kind of like, okay, how do I fit into this? And what does this look like now? And like, I just have to give them major props because their mindset has been so strong through it all. And, it's like you just know how it is when change is, even if it's good change, it's change that you have to adapt to. And so I just want to shout all of them out. When I started with Shackley 4 months ago, it was just me and Kara, and then several more. I see Erin on the call. She was one of the first to jump on too. And there, I'm gonna miss people on here, but little by little, our team has grown, and it's just been really neat because I feel like the quality of people that continue to be brought to our team is just amazing. And so, shout out to that, we call them the OGs. They're now our OGs that were here before, and now welcome to all of the new people too. Um, I shared with some of them this morning. I'm just so excited for them to get to know all of you. And I feel so honored because I've kind of gotten to know the little pockets of teams that have joined. And what's been so cool is that since this whole thing happened, like, Christy was one of the first people, Christy Kronzer, to message me, and Josh and Melinda were too. And like, when I started to see the different people that were coming onto our team, then Meredith and Corey and some other leaders at Body as well, who I'm talking to, and it was just like, wow, like, I just feel like we all are gonna get into a room physically and be like, we get each other. Like, we really get each other. So it's gonna be awesome. Welcome, welcome. And thank you also just for, go rolling with the punches and going into this new thing and trying to learn this new company and what we have to offer because it really is a lot, it's a lot to process. It's also exciting. And I love seeing how excited all of you are. But, just take a minute and be so like proud of yourselves because what you're doing is actually really hard and you're doing it with like the best attitude. And it's just been inspiring to watch. So, okay, so for the call today, a few things that I wanted to cover. We were going to do like a bigger tour of the back office because Jake was going to be on to do that, but I really do think he's the best person to do that. So I'm going to push that, the majority of that to next week, and then he will walk you through. But honestly, as you get started, you don't need to really have a deep dive just yet anyway. Have all of you had a chance to log into your back office? Has everybody done that? If you guys could post in the chat. Hopefully you did that. If not, get in there. It's so simple. I love hearing that it's like user friendly. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is it's very simple in there. It's easy to see. And so the page that I pay attention to the most on a daily basis is looking at those Star Club bonuses, especially when we're all new, is like, how many new customers do you have? How close are you to the next star bonus? It can be very motivating. Okay, Katie, you just joined, so you haven't had a chance. That's so great. Welcome. So anyway, the back office is awesome. It's very intuitive. It keeps you focused. It keeps you engaged. There's also a lot of information on there about Shaklee. So I wanted to touch on that. I'm going to put this in the chat, shakleetools.com. So shakleetools.com is something that you can actually send even to people that are curious to learn about Shaklee. And it's going to have, actually, you know what? I am going to share this one thing just so I can show you because I feel like it is helpful. I have it pulled up here. Yes, there it is. Okay. It's helpful to kind of look through, just to walk you through the first time so you know what you're looking for. But this has so much information. So this is what you'll go to when you go to shakleetools.com. And then when you click on this, you can go to whatever language you're in, but it's going to have so much information down here. So wellness communities, when you click on that, it's going to have like, if you want to run a group on how to clean out your pantry, it has a lot of free value. So if you were at Body, it's the stuff that we would kind of create ourselves to add value and educate, but this is all for free. So like this one that's highlighted there is a fruit and veggie cleanse. Tons of information on here. Here's where you can find the latest announcements on what's going on at Shaklee. So if you click on that, that will have everything you need to know as far as that goes. Different promotions are going to be right here. We also have a new onboarding. So if you just joined our team, hopefully you also saw our getting started guide. That's a kind of a simplified version of this. But as you get going, if you want to dig into more of the resources there, that will be super helpful too. There's different resources as far as how to share Shaklee in different ways. There's stuff about nutrition. So the cool part about what I've been loving about this is you really learn so much about products in general and what they can do for you. So I think you'll have a lot of fun just diving into that. And then product information on all the things, all the beauty stuff. I mean, you could literally spend days in here. There's also a spot called Shaklee TV. And that's what I'll do if I'm like, I don't know, folding laundry or cleaning up the kitchen or things like that, or I just want to learn more. There's a ton of videos specifically about the company and everything that we have, even as far as business stuff too. A lot of the history, like what I did when I first joined was I would watch and listen to a lot of those videos, and it really helped to build my confidence about the brand because I was like, oh, that's how it got started. I'm sure we've all heard bits and pieces as we made our decision to come to Shaklee, but the more education that you can give yourself about everything we have going on here, it really is like for me, I would learn something and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go share that on my stories because that's so cool. And so just little tidbits is what I would encourage you to do. Okay, so that's that. Okay, the next kind of housekeeping item that I wanted to touch on is just about the chat, the Facebook group, and kind of, how we can really create resources to help each other win. So we have the chat that's for everybody called Elevate. And if you're not in there already, ask your upline and we can get you in there. But that's really designed for us as a place to share best practices with each other. And we also can welcome new people in there. But with that said, I really want it to be a spot where you go in there and you feel like you're able to get value out of it. Because sometimes, chats can go crazy and then you're like, oh my gosh, I have like 50 messages and I don't even know how to keep track of that. And so we definitely want to use that. We want it to be a place that is really fun to check into. But we also don't want it to be a place that feels like overwhelming or I missed out on all this information. Anything that's like very important, I will try to put in the Facebook group as well, just so that you can scroll there so you don't miss out on things. But when you're going into that chat, I just encourage you to go, okay, how can I add value? Of course, ask questions, when you can't find the answer, but also being resourceful too, I think is a big part of this. So like if you have a question and you learn the answer, then you can maybe share that in the chat. You know what I mean? Instead of just ask, because a lot of stuff that you ask, you could do a simple search on the Shaklee site and find it. So I just want to make sure that that chat is a place where we really feel like, whoa, we're getting the best of the best value in there. Okay. And then as far as the Facebook group goes, I really want that to be a place where you can feel free to share and add value as you want. So, as a leader, I love collaborating and I love hearing what's working for you. And so I by no means think that the way that I do things is the only way to do things. I think what is a really neat thing about how this is all coming together is that we have a lot of leaders on here, whether you were a leader at Body or whether you're just a leader in your own life, like you have a lot of value to add to the conversation and to what's going on. So if you have things that you're like, oh, this is a great resource, this should be in the team page, like please don't hesitate to share. Or, the other day, Christy was like, I think I want to do a live video in the team page. I was like, yes, please. Like if you guys have stuff that you want to encourage others with, please feel free. Like this is not the Amber Show. This is like, how can we help? How can we all kind of come together and help each other in the best ways? And here's what's really cool is that at Shaklee, and this is one of the reasons why I chose Shaklee, you do not need a huge social media following to win here. Because that was the biggest thing for me is that I wanted to find a place where I truly felt like I could help anyone win. As long as you are someone that cares about people and that you're someone that wants to serve others, you can win here. You don't have to go viral to do that. I know talking with Josh and other leaders too, what's most important to us is that we are taking care of people and that we are meeting with people one-on-one. We're having conversations to truly help them. And so I just know that you guys are going to have amazing ideas that you bring to the table, and I want to hear them because when we can share those, we're all just going to win. Okay. And then as far as just in general, being on this team, like just the culture that I really want to create is that of encouragement of others. And I mean, this is like natural for you, but I think that it's a choice, right? It's a choice to encourage others on a daily basis. So when you see someone winning, I hope that that's a sign for you that you can win too. I know for me, when I first got into network marketing, like I had to teach myself that a little bit because I can be one that I sort of compare myself to others at times. And then I can get into my own head, like, oh my goodness, like she's doing way more than me or whatever. And so instead of being intimidated by success, what I really had to teach myself was, you know what? Anytime someone else wins, that's just proof that I can win too. And so I want to encourage you to kind of check your mindset. And we all have to do this on a daily basis, especially right now with the environment. And like, there are so many body people going every which way. And even social media, I don't know if you guys have found this to be true, but even going on social media, it can feel a little bit like a dumpster fire right now. So be mindful of the kinds of things that you're also allowing into your mind. I know I've had to mute different things or just really put my blinders on. The other day, Kelsey Shackley reminded me, she's like, you know what? We just have to, she goes, what I remind myself is keep your eyes on your own paper, Kelsey. And I was like, that's so true. Like with all of this, is it's just like focus on what you're doing because of course, when we compare ourselves to others, even if we have something really awesome going on, it might get in our heads a little bit. So as far as the culture goes, when you see people posting to the chat, like, let's love like the heart button, right? It's like, if you're ever not loving something, like ask yourself, why is that? Why am I like hesitating to love something? Because really, if we can just love on each other, everyone's going to win, but it's mindset more than anything. But I did want to touch on that comparison piece because what's important to me is, like I said, that everyone can win here. And you do not have to be even from body. You don't even like we have people that are winning that have never done network marketing before here. This is like the opposite of maybe what you've experienced in the past. So I just want you to be confident in who you are and what you bring to the table, because the reality is you're going to be able to help a certain type of person that the next person wouldn't be able to. Like we all have this circle of influence. And so trust that and just know that there's people at your table that, that you can serve in a really, really powerful way. I was talking to Christine. I just saw her on here too. She's down here with me in Naples and we went on a walk the other day. And we were talking about comparison too, and I said, it's interesting because in life, there's always someone to compare something to, like whether it's this or whether it's financially or whatever, how many kids you have or whatever it is, there's always going to be someone that has just a little bit more than you or appears to have it all together more than you. And the reality is like God has given each of us such incredible assignments to serve where we are. And so there's people that you're going to help it's just going to be so amazing as we keep focused on that. Okay. What I really want to spend the majority of the time left today, this was going to go an hour. I don't know that it will now because we're not going to do the back office thing today. But what I really wanted to touch on right now is where we are at in the month and how we can really finish October strong from the standpoint of how can we get those sales going. So Jake and I did a call. Oops. Jake and I did a call for Josh's team the other night, and we really felt like it was important to share this information with them as far as just reiterating how the compensation plan works here, because it is very different than how it was if you were from Body. It's very different. So here you can win in a really powerful way through retail sales. And so that is something that needs to be on your radar, because if you simply build a team and you do not focus on retail, when you look at the metrics, when you look at the compensation plan and you see like in the back office, there's something that shows the different tiers of, okay, if you're at director, these are the high earners, these are the low earners, and then this is the average earners. Really, the only way to achieve like the highest earning potential within a rank is to be focused on retail. And that's very different than what we are used to. So I want to make sure that you guys are focused on that. But it actually works really well together, because when you're helping more people with retail, then of course they're trying more products, and then you have more people that are interested in your business too. So with that said, one of the pieces as far as sharing the products is customer retention. So your very first month, this isn't something that's as much of a focus because everybody is brand new. So anytime you get a new customer that signs up with you, you're going to get the 30% commission on their orders for the first 30 days. But then what happens is month 2, you decide what you get paid on reorders. So the reason I say that is because it's based on what you're selling this month. So there's different tiers. And actually, let me pull this up. There's different tiers of the comp plan. I'll pull it up maybe in a second after I finish this, but there's different tiers in the comp plan based on, okay, if you sell this amount, then you are going to get a 10% commission on reorders next month. So what I don't want to happen for you is for you to be so excited this month that you have all these new customers, and then next month, because you didn't get to the 20% category or the 30% category, that then you're like, oh, I only got 10% commission on the people I brought in last month. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, what can happen is if you focus on retail, is that every month you can climb a percentage. So maybe next month you get 20%, next month you get 30. Like the goal should be for you in this side of your business to get to the 40% mark. Now that's going to take time, but what's really cool here is that as you have customers who order with you the first time, oftentimes they want to reorder products here. So it's not like a one and done. They get into the website and they're like, oh, you have this too, or oh, you have that too. I'll try this. So it's not uncommon for someone to start with a package their first month, and then the second month they'll be like, I'm going to try the beauty, or I'm going to try those other vitamins, things like that. So you really want to be working towards the 40% mark. So when you're setting goals every month, you really want to focus on that personal sales volume just as much as the other, metrics like PTV and things like that, because your personal sales volume is going to determine what you're paid on the next month. So when you're in your back office, the very first part that you'll see is it's going to say, how much commission you've had month to date. So you're going to see that. And then under that, you're going to notice what it says you're at for percentage. And that's going to be between the 10 to 40%. That is what you're going to get paid. If the month were to end today, that's what you would get paid next month. Does that make sense? So check that. And if you're like, well, I want to make more than 10% commission. Okay, cool. Then by the end of October, you need to get to the next benchmark to get to the 20%. Does that make sense? Does anyone have questions about that? Because what's really cool now that I'm in the 40% mark, and that took me a little time to build up to, but that's my goal now every month, is that, like, for example, when someone orders like beauty through me, now when they, when they, like, I just had someone order $400 worth of stuff, I'm getting a 40% commission on that order. So that's where you're really going to start to be able to max out the comp plan on that side of it. Yeah, great question. So it changes month to month. It's always based on your sales for this month will determine what commission you're in for next month. So just know whatever shows up on your screen, that's what's for next month. So you'll see it climb every time you do a sale, every time you get a sale, and that's actually really motivating because, you'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm almost to the 20% mark. I totally want to help a few more people so that I can lock that in. So in addition to director, you'll see us celebrating director, which is important, but there's a lot that happens between sign up as an ambassador and getting to director, because if you're focused on retail, like, you're just going to want to make sure that you're not just solely focused on building a team, because, and I want to, I know this might sound repetitive, but what happened at Body is you could hit Success Club 5 and build a team. And that was like, that's how that comp plan worked. And there were definitely cons to that comp plan, but here it's actually better because you can control a lot. So, sometimes you'd have people that would sign up and they wouldn't really work very hard. And it was kind of like, well, I work hard. So it's really cool to be able to have the retail side of the business be something that you can control. And then when you have ambassadors that want to sign up, cool, but it's not this pressure of the only way to make money is if I have a team. So that's actually really awesome. So are you asking like what you order personally, Carrie? Like, does that count? So let me touch on that. So if you're signed up as an ambassador, anything that you order, is just whatever, like, you don't get paid on that. But what most of us do is if we have a spouse, we will sign our spouse up as a customer. So you cannot have two ambassadors in the same household, but you can sign up your spouse as a customer. And then in that case, the sales, like whatever you buy for your household, would include in your monthly sales from that regard. So that's a great question. Does that make sense, everyone?
I think I was just asking, it says that I have $204.80 in current month sales. That's what I bought, right?
That's what you have sold.
But I haven't sold to anybody but myself. I'm the only
Oh,
one that's bought
under
under,
customer, sorry.
under sales commission.
Yes, yep. So that would be anything that you order or you sell to customers. Yep. Do you personally have to purchase a certain amount each month? Great question. So every month in order to get paid, you need 75 active volume. So active volume though can be from one of two places. It can either be from something that you order yourself, or it can be from a new customer. So if you have a new customer that orders 75 or more, you don't have to order anything yourself. So really, as long as you have new customers, you could order everything through your spouse account if you really wanted to. You wouldn't necessarily have to. Yes, personalized vitamins through your husband, definitely. So let me touch on that too. These are such great questions because you're going to get these like immediately once you start working. So let's say you have two people in a family that want to be on Meology. So each Meology is attached to an email address. So what you would do is you would sign up, like, and let's use the example of a customer, okay? Because let's say I just had this happen. One of my customers is loving Meology. She wants her husband to be on it too. And she was like, how do I put two orders under my account? So you're going to have them each fill out the quiz separately on their email address. And then what you can do is the customer will simply just call into customer service and they'll ask that the orders are combined, like that those two accounts are combined under their account. And then they'll be able to order their Meology monthly together with the same order. They're working on tech to be able to combine them online, but for now, you just have to call in and then they can combine the Meology over the phone. Yeah, so this is a great question. That is, as far as how many levels do you get paid, is really based on what rank you're at. So in the back office, I would encourage you to go. There's lots of videos on that. But to start, you get paid on the first several levels, and then once you get to a certain point, we have infinity bonuses, which then you're getting paid on the whole downline. So there's definitely different ways to work your way up to be able to take advantage of your entire team. Yeah, you'll have to have a different email because the way that the tech works, you'll probably just have to create like a free email for him. I know it's kind of annoying, but there's really no other way to do it. Okay. Any other questions on that? Anything that I covered? Girls that have been here for a while, what am I missing that maybe would be really helpful for them to know right out the gate in terms of some of these things? Anything? All right. Okay. So then we'll kind of continue on sharing best practices for selling these products. So, oh, okay. So sharing best practices to sell the product. So I know for me, when I started, it was overwhelming kind of to go, okay, well, this is really cool that I have 300 plus products, but also where do I start kind of thing, because you can't sell all of them all at once. So, and my husband is great at explaining this too. When he's able to be on, he'll share his perspective he's been doing, sales for years. But and he sold at companies where they had a huge bag of products. He was in medical device for several years, but he would always lead with the products that were most relevant to whoever he was talking to. So with this, it's the same thing. So for those of you who have a lot of health and fitness people that are going to be interested in your products and you want to work on getting, your first step is going to be to get those body customers converted over to Shaklee. So sharing what's familiar to you, sharing what's familiar to them, like build confidence with that first. So picking the products that you are the very most excited about, and then from there you can kind of expand. So in the beginning, I know for me, I was like so used to selling fitness that I was like, how am I gonna kind of shift this a little bit? And so the pack that makes this really simple to lead with is called the Ready Set Wellness Bundle. And perhaps some of you guys signed up with this when you enroll as an ambassador. But the reason I love it is because it's products that are really comfortable for people who are already into nutrition and fitness. So the cool part about the Ready Set Wellness Bundle is that it's only available the very first time you place an order with Shaklee. So that can give you confidence to lead with that particular bundle. So what you get in the bundle is you get 1 month of personalized vitamins, so the Meology. With the Ready Set Wellness, it's the essentials. So when you take the quiz, you'll notice there's essentials and essentials plus. The Ready Set Wellness includes just the essentials. That's how I encourage everyone to get started on Meology, is just to start with the basics. You can always upgrade if you need to. Most people are working with a budget, so it's like, let's start with the essentials. If you still need a little bit of tweaking, you can always add on. But the Ready Set Wellness Bundle will have that. And then also you get 2 flavors of the Life Shakes. So again, people coming from body, shakes are very familiar to them. They can choose the 2 flavors that they want to start with. And then you get to choose a product of your choice. There's several to choose from. Some people will do the 7-day cleanse as a way to get started. That's what I did because I wanted to kind of share my results right off the bat. So I did that. Other people, they want to do the gut and go. Maybe if you have digestive issues, you would choose that. That's a pre and probiotic drink. Other people, maybe they'll do the rest and rewind because we have that for nighttime if you struggle with sleep. So you get to choose, but the Ready Set Wellness Bundle is what I would lead with 100% of the time as you're bringing body customers over, at least offering it to them, because you want them to know like, hey, this is only available the first time, so that they're not coming to going, oh my gosh, I wish I had known that this was available because I probably would have gone with that. Even if they don't go with it, it's just good to let them know that that's available. Okay, questions? Let me check on these. Okay, yeah. So Mel, that's a great question. So, for those of you that are working your way through the Getting Started guide, one of the things that you can do, and this is for our team exclusively, so this is a really, really neat perk, is that when you have your grand opening event, if you hit 2 Star Club bonuses by the end of your first month, then Shackley Corporate will cover those products for free. So here's what I want to talk through right now, specifically since we're sort of at the end of October. For those of you that have just signed up, I want to talk about how you can maximize that. So as far as your launch goes, like your grand opening goes, if you are just signing up and you're just now doing your announcement post, I would actually encourage you to wait to have your grand opening event until the very beginning of November. Because then you're going to have the whole month to take advantage of that offer from Shackley Corporate, as opposed to trying to rush towards the end. So ideally, once we get into our groove here, our marketing calendar will be so that we are encouraging new ambassadors to sign up towards the beginning of the month. Or end of the last month so they can take advantage of the full month. But for those of you that are signing up right now, this is going to be something that you want to just think about your timing. So Carrie, yeah, and for those of you who are brand new, who haven't had a chance to go through the Getting Started guide, I have a separate video that walks through all of that. So I basically just did a video that walks through the entire Getting Started guide. But in a nutshell, the grand opening event is what I suggest doing in your free group that you open up. So it's going to be an event that you host for a handful of days where you can say, okay, anyone that purchases 150 or more can choose a free product from Shackley. And the great part about corporate is they're very generous. And so as long as you hit 2 Star Clubs, they will actually send out the free product for you. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, if you want more details on that, there's a video in the team page that walks you through that Getting Started guide. And that is, yes, that is only for your first, sometimes they will do random things, but that's just for your first month. And you can choose, like right now, sign up if it's October or November for you. That's just to kind of help people get started that really are serious about getting to work right away. It's just a way to help you get even more momentum for your business.
So I have a question. So if I already hit the double star bonus, I think that's what it's called. I should still do the launch party thing at this month, correct? Since I already hit that anyways.
Yeah, I would, and I think you still have time to do that, and if you feel like that's too much, that's rushed, just talk to Christy and I and Tracy about it because we can help you figure out what's best for you. That is what I love about Shackley is they want you to think through how can you get the most out of it. So I would say if you've already opened your group and you've done your announcement post and you have people in the group, then definitely you could still do it this month. But otherwise, if you haven't gotten that far, then maybe we would push it to next month. But Jesse, I would say like you could totally hit directory at this month just with what you already have going.
Thank you.
Okay, question. So you get a Star Club bonus each time someone is enrolled. So you get it every time you sell to 3 people and that order totals $500, then you get a $75 bonus. So in a way, it's similar to Success Club at Body, except at Body, it was like you help 3 people and then you got some sort of prize like a t-shirt or a hat or something. But here it's if you help 3 people, then you get, and it totals 500, then you get $75. And you can do that up to 15 times a month. So that's really cool because you don't have to just stop at the 3 people. You can keep going from there. Hi Rob, glad that you're on. Okay, other questions?
I have another question about because I know you mentioned something about corporate every time your group hits 100.
Yes.
What is that about and how does that work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So and this was my husband's idea, and it actually worked really well when we launched, is that in order, so for those of you who are new, I'm just gonna kind of give you a brief overview of the launch process. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna, first of all, reach out to people that tell them what you're doing. Then you're gonna open up a new Facebook group where you're gonna have that be a place where you can add your free leads to. So like your warm market to anyone that wants more info about what you're doing, you're going to add them to this free Facebook group. So what we did is, so then after the group's open, that's when you do your announcement, and you basically, your call to action is asking them to comment, add me if they want to be added into your Facebook group. So once you have all those people in the free group, you're going to keep adding to it forever, but it's important to educate them on what Shaklee is and keep the momentum going. So what you can do is every time you have 100 people join your group, you can offer a Meology giveaway. So the way that we did this is whenever we had 100 people join, and again, this is going to be different for every person. For some people, you're going to have 100 people on day one. For some of you, this is going to take you a little bit of time, and that's totally okay. Don't feel like this is not doable, because if you put the work in, I guarantee you can find 100 people. It just might take a little more work if this is your first time doing something like this. But what's cool is after you have 100 people in, then what we said is, okay, first 100 people in, we're going to celebrate by doing a Meology giveaway. So to enter the giveaway, then we had them fill out the Meology quiz, and that was their entry. And this was really awesome because it was a way that they could get we could get leads for Meology, because what happens is when you share your Meology link with someone, the very first thing that it's going to have them do is fill out this free health quiz. And so when they fill that out, it's going to be attached to you. So then it's going to show up in your back office as so-and-so filled out a Meology assessment. And then you can use that as a reason to follow up with them later on and ask them about, what they're interested in. So for the Meology quiz, or for the Meology giveaway, we said, okay, when you hit 100 people, like we're going to do this giveaway. To enter, fill out the Meology quiz. And then every time we hit like 200 people or wherever, everyone could still be, like, if you had filled it out at all, you were entered every single time. So there was incentive for them to be some of the first people to fill out the Meology quiz. But then all you're going to do is I usually give it a couple days. So like once at least for the first one, when I hit 100, I was like, okay, we're going to do this giveaway for Meology. Fill out the Meology assessment. I gave them a couple days so that then I could make sure I was getting a bunch of assessments in. And then I selected a winner. So when you select the winner, that's something that corporate is also willing to send out for you. So I'm creating a form where all you'll do is you'll fill out the form, and then Jake helps me with a lot of this kind of stuff. He then goes to corporate and asks them to send the Meology out to whoever your winner is. But the Meology free quiz is so awesome because it's a really just great way for people to learn more about what it is, because they kind of get into the website, they answer these questions. But that's the giveaway. Did that help? Okay. Okay, so as far as, let me see if as far as selling these products, let's go into this a little bit more. So I just want to remind everyone that the most effective way to sell is to share your personal story with a product. I mean, you'll see in the back office, there's beautiful graphics, and there's a time and a place for those inside of your Facebook group sometimes. But what I have found to be the most effective is always, always, always when I'm just sharing personally what a product has done for me. And so what I did when I started is I started to sprinkle things into my stories. And I didn't even share about that it was Shaklee. This is curiosity marketing. So you don't necessarily want to tell everyone what you're doing, because then they'll just go to the Shaklee site. You still want them to purchase through you. So what you're going to do is just kind of have these little teasers. So I will tell you, I would say 85% of my sales are on Instagram stories. That's just where I make a lot of my sales. The first month also in my Facebook group, and I do still get orders there too, and I keep adding. But Instagram stories is just awesome because it's where you get to be real. It's where you don't have to be like so fussy about having the perfect reel and having all of your life together, but you can just share who you are, why you're excited, why these products are working for you. So when I started to share about the products, I was just super honest. Like, I was coming from a place where I was using the body products, but I also wanted to be authentic because I really did like those products. But then when I tried Shaklee products, I started to feel a lot better, which was very surprising to me because I thought I felt pretty great before. But I started to share some of those differences. So I started to share what I was noticing, like bloating. I shared that I just felt kind of puffy before and that was going away. I shared the pre-workout. Like that's a really easy one to start sharing about, is just teasing about the pre-workout. Our pre-workout is cheap too. It's less than Energize. So you can even just share like a photo of you having your Energize or having your pre-workout. And just kind of sharing what is it that you like? What is the taste like? I mean, you want to be honest with people too. So I was sharing things like the taste is lighter. The pre-workout is lighter. It's a lighter taste. You'll find everything at Shaklee has a little bit of a lighter taste. It's not quite as sweet because we have less sugar in a lot of our stuff. So I would share and educate things like that. And that is going to be really important as you're continuing to share with your, like if you have previous BODi customers, that just take a second and kind of, what to you seems very obvious is a teachable moment for whoever you're talking to on stories. So I know so many of you guys are good at this. I'm just looking at who's on the screen here. Erin, like I always pick on her when it comes to stories, Erin Novak, because she's so real and she's gonna be like, stop talking about me. But she's one that like she's just so real, and her husband share like funny life stuff, but then she'll like share a product. And I think that really is the way to do it when it comes to selling on your stories. You don't want it to be product, 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 product. You do want it to be a mix of sharing family. Christine Taylor's another one. She's really good at sharing like snippets of her family, but then also sharing products that she loves. So I would say to get your feet wet, I really love Instagram stories and also your Facebook group, because your Facebook group is a safe place for you, especially for those of you who are new to social media. Your Facebook group is like only people that are in there can see it. So that's kind of a good way to practice live videos. When it comes to your Instagram stories, you do want to talk into your stories. And I know that that can feel awkward, especially at first, but that's how you're going to build trust with people. So just kind of talking into your stories, sharing, think of Instagram stories as sort of like a play-by-play of your day, kind of starting in the morning and going to the night, just kind of bringing them into your life. Because what's cool with Shaklee products is it's not just our workouts, it's throughout the whole day. So I find that I'm touching some sort of Shaklee product like all day long. And so it's really easy to share things in my stories. Sometimes I have to hold myself back because I'm like, I've literally talked about 20 products, or I could right now. So I have to like wait a little bit and kind of keep it more, also adding value. Another idea would be like, I saw Melinda Spencer did this the other day and it was really great. She shared recipes that she has for her family for the week. And she was like, hey, I just did my meal plan for the week. Like I'm going to share some recipes that you can screenshot. So adding value. But what we don't want to do is just sell, sell, sell. We definitely want to share value with people. Christine, since your video is on, can I put you on the spot really quick? She's got a little toddler with her. But she just moved over. I thought you'd be a good example because you literally, I mean, the timing is crazy, but she just moved over. She was previously an elite coach at BODi, and she moved over a month ago. And I just was wondering if you could share from your experience, like what has worked really well for you that first month when you were transitioning over some of your BODi customers.
I think and talking about transitioning over the BODi girls to this company, but then also stories, and I'm going to piggyback on stories and then talk about BODi customers, but Amber said it, but I think the curiosity marketing, because honestly, how I led with it was not just coming out immediately and being
Oh, did she disappear? Okay, she'll probably be back. We'll wait for her to come back, of course. When she's talking, she gets cut out. But I think what she was saying is, yeah, just sharing, about the products, creating that curiosity for sure. Okay. Anyone else that's from BODi, if you could, and you've been here for, more than a few weeks, if you could share in the chat just anything, any advice that you would have for people, anything that worked well for you, because I think that would be kind of encouraging for people to hear too. See if I thought she was popping back on. Trying to see if anyone else has. Erin, I don't want to pick on you again, but your video is on. And you've been here for a minute. But I think you're just a real down to earth person. And so could you share in a nutshell, just like as you transitioned over, I know you're still, I mean, we're all still new, so we're all still figuring this out. But for you in stories, like you don't even probably like you're just you and it just comes naturally to you. But any tips that you would have that worked well for you too?
Yeah, sorry, I feel like I look like a serial killer in my elf kit basement right now. I'm like my back, guys, I
Oh
don't
yeah.
normally hang out down here. Like
Erin
my
sells, by
face.
the way, if you have little kids, Erin sells these amazing elf kits. They are legit the coolest thing ever. So she's in her elf factory right now.
Yeah, it just looks really weird in my background. The transition, I guess I thought I was nervous at first because, well, I never thought I would get into another network marketing company, honestly. And really the only reason I did is one, Amber, and then two, I tried the stuff and I was like, wow, I really do love everything that I've tried, most everything that I've tried. There was only one thing I didn't love. But I think, yeah, just trying to, I don't like feeling salesy at all. And that's always a big concern of mine. So just trying to authentically talk about stuff and incorporate it in my daily life. Sometimes I'll do videos talking just using the skincare products, but I don't even say a word about it. But then it's kind of planting like a secret seed, I guess, to people. Like they're always seeing me do it or talk while I'm making my shake about something completely different, but they're seeing me actively use everything in my daily life.
Yeah, that's so good. And she just keeps it very like very natural, which I think is the key. Thank you so much for sharing.
I will
Christine,
jump on really quick. Sorry. My computer completely died and I didn't even know it was close to dying. I was like life with a baby down here, right? That's like I'm trying to keep her from falling. Okay, so I was just going to say was the way I also approach, okay, so the stories, whatever, yes, curiosity marketing and making for sure you're not just saying Shackley right away, making sure you're saying that like you're trying new things and you've fallen in love with how they're making you feel and not necessarily being like, this is what they are, right? Especially at the beginning. Like nowadays, if you went to go watch them, I do, but also everyone knows what I'm doing inside my stories now, so it doesn't matter. But this is my number one advice. And Amber honestly suggested it as well. I probably spent 2 weeks voicing people, my customers. So I had a ton of preferred customers still. And so they were, regularly buying still from me. And slowly but surely, honestly, most of them have all like, not all, but like a lot of them have already transferred over to Shackley. And so, but what I did is I went to them first and I voiced them and I just let them know that like, I was shifting over to this new company because of the way that the products were making me feel. And that as I approach my 40s, I'll be 40 in January, that I was like, I just had sort of hit this, stump in the road and I could not get out of this slump and I felt awful. And I literally led with how these products were making me feel. And it made a huge difference because I do believe that every single one of those girls were like, she went out of her way to message me. And honestly, most of them said, thank you so much for taking the time to let me know what you were doing. None of them purchased that day and not even like right away. But like, it's funny. I mean, every week it's like another one comes that was a preferred customer of mine. And so most of them just thank you and then, move on. But voice them. Don't just like I sent out emails to ones that I don't really talk to. But ones that were like, those close knit people that you had 20 to 30 people that were like your followers and they did everything with you, voice them.
that's so good. Thank you. And Meredith, could you share for the recording, could you share what you posted in the chat? Because that's brilliant too.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically where I started. I'm very new, by the way. But that's basically the first place that I started, like what Christine said. I went and pulled all of my subscription orders from all of my different business centers and reached out to customers that I have a personal relationship with, and I voice messaged them because I saw that they had some kind of an upcoming product order, whether it was Shakeology or Energize or whatever. But I just sent them a voice message to just kind of share my heart and share about this transition that I've made and why I'm personally loving the products. And then I just offered to show them what their comparable swaps would be if they wanted to check out these products for their in place of their upcoming orders. So I've been, just kind of creating carts and sending them so that they can look at it. And I've had a lot of people get on board with that. So that's just kind of where I started.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. And then today too, do you want to share what you did for your post today? Because I thought that was also very good.
Sure. So I just made a post today. I've been using these products for about 10 days, and I just made a post sharing, like, honest. I think I even said, I can't even remember the first line of my post, but I was like, what did I say? I really didn't want it to be true. And that's just the honest truth. I didn't want it to be true that there was, cleaner products out there, but I really have felt a difference, and my pictures show a difference. And so I just decided to put that out there, in the, what I hope is like a way of integrity, and not saying anything bad about body or, bashing any of those products, because I've loved those for so long. But just kind of the fact that, like, when you know better, you do better. And so I didn't realize that, like, these swaps would fit so much better with my system and be getting me the results that I've gotten. So yeah.
Love that. Yeah, you guys will have to go check out her photo. I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. 10 days. It was awesome. Okay. All right. We have about 5 minutes left here. But mainly as you get started sharing, because I feel like so far with all the new people that have come in, there's been a lot of kind of just getting your teams back in place to where they were. But now it's like, okay, to end the month, let's really get solid on starting to share these products. But what I want to encourage you with too is that it does take consistency. So if you have not shared before these products, which no one has, it may take you some time to get people to trust you and to trust the products. So here's what we're finding is that when you start out to share, especially stuff in your stories and in your free group, because in your first month, it's mostly your free group and your stories, and maybe you're doing a few posts, and then month 2, we can start to get more into like more posts on social media. But what we're noticing is that it takes consistency daily, sharing about the same product before people kind of are like, oh, I should buy that. So when it comes to the vitamins, sharing about the vitamins in some way in your stories every day, if that's what you want to lead with right now, sharing, like I did a lot of photos of like the vitamins in the palm of my hand. I'd go in front of a window, so it was like good lighting. I'd take photos of the vitamins, and I would share something on top as far as what I was loving about them or how they were making me feel. And I literally did that like every day. And you'll notice by like, I don't know, the first couple of days, and this is the same of true, that's true of the Botox ones, anything. The first few days you do it, nothing, like no one cares. And then by finally day 7, 8, 9, 10, all of a sudden they're like, oh, okay, she keeps sharing about this. Maybe I should pay attention to that. And then you'll start to get an order or two come in. But I think it's really important to note that you're going to see people that have sales right off the bat, and they're going to, again, this is where the comparison piece comes in. But the people that are winning over the long haul are the ones that are very consistent. I just had a call, or I just chatted with Sarah Robinson, who's on our team, and she is a perfect example of this. She has been consistent since the beginning, and she has not yet locked in director yet, but she is getting closer every single month. So she started, and she's been in her stories, she's been on Instagram, she's been in her free group, like nonstop. And now here she is getting these like $200, $300, $400 orders. And she's like, wow, consistency really pays off. So there is something to be said of, you don't want to be someone that shows up and then disappears. You know what I mean? Like, even if you can't do it all right away, just pick, what am I going to be consistent with? Even if sharing one product every single day, be consistent with that and lead with that. Because that's how you're going to be able to build trust with people. Because there is an element of this where when you switch companies, people are like, oh, she's doing something new. And your people that are super close, they're going to buy with you right away. But the other people, they're going to take some time. They're going to be like, is she really going to do this? Is she really going to stick with this? I wonder if she's going to flake out. Like, they're watching you. And so every day is an opportunity for you to just continue to show up, but trust it and keep going, especially when you don't get the sales. Because that's what I'm seeing is the people that keep going, they're the ones that are now having the momentum in the next 2-3 months. The ones that are like here for a minute, gone, it's like they don't ever get their momentum to a point where the sales are coming in frequently. So that too is just trust the process. All right. Well, thank you so much for hopping on. This was so good to see all of you again next week. We'll be on again every Tuesday. And, we'll see how this goes. I know that this worked out for a lot of people, but I do want to include people that maybe work during the day at points too. So we'll try to do some pop-up calls here and there so we can include them sometimes too. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll talk to you later. Bye.